Welcome to ReEnvision, the podcast where we explore what truly happens when we embrace change as one of life's most profound rhythms. I'm your host, Bédard, and together we will embark on a transformative journey, finding joy and happiness amid life's shifts while strengthening our hearts, cultivating our resilience, nurturing the courage to evolve and to uncover our own ability to thrive and move forward. Here, we have full permission to be ourselves, to explore, to discuss, and to simply be. We'll tap into the deep knowing that has always been within as we navigate change with simplicity, lightness, and fluidity, open to new understandings, new perspectives, and even new possibilities. So whether you're seeking inspiration, empowerment, or simply a space to reflect and contemplate, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to the last episode of season 1 of ReEnvision. I am so excited to be recording this episode, and I have a little confession to make. I tried to record this episode at the end of November in preparation for the Winter Solstice, and I spent an afternoon trying to trying to record what I want to say, and it wasn't working. It wasn't flowing. It wasn't meant to be. And I told myself, okay, well, I'm just gonna, take a break and pick this up. And it's not because I didn't know what I was gonna say. It was pretty much straightforward, because I wanted to talk about the end of year, questions and review that I do every year, that I've been doing for several years now. And, the first years I was doing it more in the group that I had, in Facebook group that I don't have anymore. And afterwards it was, last year we did it into sort of a picture post way. And this year, since I have the podcast, I was like, this is going to be amazing, because we're going to be able to really dive into this in a voice matter. And I'm going to be able to get my notes in and everything. So I did, put that aside, and I went on my 20 days of going around to explore Christmas markets all over Germany. So I took the bus and I went up, not the bus, but I took the train and I went up north to see my friend in Berlin, and I spent a week there with her, and we did a lot of Christmas markets over there. And then I was supposed to take the train back, and I actually had to take the bus because there was a wide national strike of the Deutsche Bahn. So I took the overnight bus to meet another friend in Frankfurt, and then we did Frankfurt-Köln. We also came back around, where I live, and we did a few of the Christmas markets. And yesterday I took the train with her to Basel in Switzerland, where she was taking the flight back to her next step of her, her next leg of her journey. And so from Berlin down to Basel, I was counting, I think that we did 23 different Christmas markets, which is amazing. It was beyond what I even expected us to be able to. And, I was if we hit 12, 13, it's going to be pretty amazing. And we ended up doubling that almost. And I feel so grateful. And we've seen so many different types of Christmas markets, so many different artisans, so many vibes, so many cities, so many stories, so many amazing, joyful memories that we created for ourselves. And through all of that, obviously, because you're in a spirit of Christmas and you're going and you're traveling, obviously you're following your own your own drive. By the end of the time that we had together, it was it was going into completion. And when she left to go in our next step of the journey, we were I can't believe this is already done. And we're already looking forward to maybe do something in this line, but different for this next year. And I came back home and I was just so complete and so much in present. And I was so happy to share all that in the advent calendar that I put out. So I created like the art of present, an advent calendar. I've been having so much fun doing this with a small group of people in Voxer, where I share like daily inspiration. They're following me like throughout like the voyage that we're doing. And it's been such an amazing, and I'm so grateful for this. And now I'm back and I'm diving into the energy of the winter solstice that is coming up. And this episode is meant to be released on the day of the winter solstice. And I'm so happy to be like slowing down after all this movement and all this joy and light, and to just dive deep into myself and get some rest in another way, like a physical rest and a spiritual rest. This whole journey has been so amazing to get creative rest, for example, and other types of rest. And I think that I'm going to make a new episode on the different types of rest in the new year. But now I'm really slowing down, and it seemed that the reason why I was not meant to do this podcast episode before, it's because I needed to be in the frequency and the vibe of this. And there we are. So the winter solstice is a phenomenon where, because of the way that the earth is tilted, the northern hemisphere points the farthest away from the sun, and it's the shortest day of the year. It's the day that we have the longest night. And when we look at different, all throughout the world, the different cultures, they all have something to like underline this. And all the like traditions that are linked to this are very much into like connection and bringing more light and like the joy and kind of like counteracting the darkness. And for me, it speaks volume on the duality of what it means to be human. And for us, like we don't really talk about in Europe or in North America, we don't really talk about winter solstice that much because we have Christmas that is right around the corner, and our, Renaissance or the renewal that winter solstice brings is kind of like postponed for the new year. And playing with all of these dates and playing with all of this frequency of the end of the year and the beginning and of this like big circle around the sun, it really is a time energetically to kind of flesh out and to do a review and to decide going forward what we want and where we want to guide ourselves in the next cycle, whether our renewal point is the winter solstice or the new year, or, you can do this any time of the year, obviously. And the 7 questions that I always ask myself are very powerful in a way that they allow me to not only like kind of review the year in a more objective way, but also like to connect it with my experiences and to really prepare the next year, not in a forceful way, but like in a sliding way. In German, we actually say like Happy New Year is eine gute Rutsch. It's actually like, we wish you a nice slide in the new year. We wish you something that is like very like smooth and flowy. And I just love, love, love the image of it. So in the podcast episode, I'm going to leave you a link so you can actually download the PDF that I did for this. So you're going to have the 7 questions written down and like some nice, like a workbook, like a review workbook that you can write down. And I think that it's really important that we write down our answers. We can read the questions and like contemplate them and reflect upon it, but writing it down, it's always super cool because at the end of the next year, you can always go back and see like the answers of your questions. And if you have been aligned in the manifestation of it and what you have decided that you wanted to decrease or increase for the new year. So it's going to be in the show note link of the podcast episode. So the first questions that I always ask myself is, what are the 3 things in the current year that has energized me most, that has given me most energy, that has fed me, that has nourished me? Like, what are the 3 areas that are really like the ones that I'm like, oh yeah, this has been like recharging my batteries? And while I reflect upon this, it's usually with me or my clients or anybody around me, the things that are ended up on this list are often the things that are taking care of ourselves and the ones that we put at last on the to-do list to do, like at the end of the day, and we always push to the next day. But when we do this kind of like end of year review, it kind of shifts the energy around this. Like, it's not that we're putting this on the to-do list and then pushing it back. It's a way to, just like our sleep, just like our brushing our teeth, like we incorporate it in our daily routine because it is part of life's hygienes that we are cultivating. Now, the question number 2 is, what are the 3 things that have drained you the most in the current year? So where is your energy leaking? What are the, like the people, the situations, the beliefs, like where does the contraction in your body, in your daily life, in your yearly life occurs? Now, the interesting part of this is often we have things that are appearing in the first and the second list. What do I mean by that? I know that in 2021, when we did the end of year review, moving to Germany appeared on both the lists. So like the whole like excitement of moving to another continent, the whole like, vibe and everything. But it also was something that drained a lot of our energy, right? Like, cause it was a big project. We decided to move in a 5-month period of time. It was really, really, really big. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. And, if you're questioning if it's normal that you have on both, then you know that the answer is yes, it is normal that it might appear on the 2 lists. The third question is, what are the 3 main successes, the 3 things that you did this year that you're like proud of, like your proudest moments of the year? What has been the 3 things that you can reflect upon, that you can contemplate and say, like, I'm so proud of this? And while you do this, you're going to see a lot of the times it is linked to consistency of doing something, persistence, perseverance, going through the processes. So it might be something that has appeared in one of the 2 lists that obviously has drained you energy, or is like, giving you energy, and you've been dually navigating those 2. Question number 4 is, what are the 3 things in 2023 that you want to replicate and or amplify in the next year? Now, if you listen to what I just said, I didn't say, what do you want to start in 2024? I'm actually building upon something that we're already doing, that we already have a taste of, that we already know what it feels in our body, and we want more. We are saying yes. We're actually going and saying, like, I want more of this in 2024. I'm putting it on my list, and I am going to really tap into that and really tap into amplification or replication. And I want more of this, right? Now, the next question would be, what are the 3 things that I want to stop or significantly decrease in 2024 that I've been living in 2023? Now, you don't have to go like all the way back. You don't have to like navigate like in the past, like the, past thing. Just look at your year and look at 3 things that you're like, oh, I really need to, decrease significantly, or stop like buying into that belief, stop buying into this system of patterning that I've been left in the year. Like, it really is about letting go of what no longer serves us, really moving into this. And this is an important thing, like where we're actually like saying, I want to stop or significantly decrease. Now, the significantly decrease is really opening a portal or door for us to acknowledge that it may take the year, or it may take some time, or it may take catching us in what we're doing that we want to stop or decreasing infinitely. Too often when people are doing resolutions, they're saying, I want to stop X, Y, Z. And then as soon as they actually have a little moment that they're, fumbling, or they're going off the wagon, they're like, oh, well, my streak has been, broken. So what's the use of this? Instead of really saying, no, like my goal was to significantly decrease. So what can I learn about this situation that has led to, making me go back into that belief, making me go back into that patterning, maybe making me go back into whatever it is that we want to stop or decrease. Now, the last two questions are always things that are kind of like, they're going to sound the same, but they're really, really, really not the same. And I'm going to tell you why for each one of them. Now, question number 6 is, what are you retaining from the year? And it really taps into what's the feeling, what's the take-home message that you want to remember about 2023. And question number 7 is, what have you learned throughout the year? So it's more about skill-wise, or like it has to do with something that you can replicate. That's something that is more tangible. Whereas the question number 6 has to do with the experience and the deep feeling and the deep knowledge and something that is really inside of you. Now, you can interpret, and you're going to see in the PDF that I sent you, you can interpret either one of them in the way that you want. But the thing that I want you to highlight in between is like, one is, what have you learned? So what is the new information that you want to reproduce or apply in the future? And the other one is, if your year had a tagline, what would it be? What would the tagline be? And not a tagline that is like, I've had a crappy year and you just want to forget about it, because forgetting about things doesn't allow us to spring forward, move forward. Like there's a lot of the times where we want to forget things that are painful as quickly as possible because we think that it's going to allow us to move forward more efficiently. And I am telling you, it's the most certain way to not move away from the pain. So there you go. You have the 7 questions review end of year. I am preparing. I actually just launched for the new year a hidden offer. It's a less and more 3 tiers hidden offers. So you have like 155, 555 and 1555 euros that you can choose from. And in the show note, I'm going to put the link into it. You're going to be able to see the vibe. And the goal of this is really to start the year with a reflection, and also like with the mindset that we're going to declutter everything that no longer serves us. And we're really going to be able to tap into during 5 weeks through conversation, through clearing, activation, meditation. We're going to dive deep into, and we're going to like draw some, like we're going to have a lot of duality movement, but in a very much applied way. Now, the 3 tiers, the differences between the 3 tiers is mostly the Voxer time that you're going to have with me, like the time that we're going to spend together on one-on-one. But the core of the 3 is really like the less and more. So if you feel the vibe of this, if you're saying like, I want to, dive into the new year and really like hone that and really live this perspective that I have applied in my world for many years now, and really tap into the intuition and how to navigate in our inner truth and inner knowledge, and getting rid of the noise that we have too often around us. Well, I'll be very, very glad to spend the 5 weeks with you. Just go in the show note link and and get in those spaces. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. I wish you a wonderful time of this year, a wonderful time to dive into yourself, get some rest, feel the vibe of the winter solstice, and I will see you in the new year for this new renewal energy, for this decluttering energy, for the vibe of less is more, for getting it out of our heads and diving into our body and diving into our hearts and diving into our voices and our intuition and all that feminine energy that we have not been taught or guided through enough in our days. I love you. Talk soon.
Thank you for being part of today's ReEnvision episode, where we explore the incredible journey of embracing change as one of life's most profound rhythms. As the seasons of life shift, we hold the power to navigate our path with courage, intuition, and wisdom. Embrace change with an open heart, for within lies the potential of a remarkable growth and evolution. If you know someone who would benefit from this conversation, I'd be honored if you shared it with them and spread the love. If this podcast has resonated with you, please subscribe on your favorite platform, leave a heartfelt review, and share it on social media. You can stay connected with me on social media with the handle @MeLifestyleDesign, where I continue to share insights and inspiration. Until our next encounter, keep exploring, embracing change, and finding joy in every moment. And remember to always keep re-envisioning your life with love and purpose. I love you, I see you, I feel you. Take care.